In the heart of Manhattan, New York, stood the towering glass building of Starlit Corporation, one of the most prestigious marketing agencies in the country. Known for its elite clientele, stunning views of the city, and a strict work culture, it was the dream office for many. Emily Carter, a 20-year-old ambitious and bright young woman, had just landed a job there as a junior assistant in the creative department. Emily was smart, dedicated, and focused on building her career. She had moved from Austin, Texas, with hopes of making something big in New York. Her boss, Mr. Ryan Blake, was in his early 40s, handsome, confident, and extremely powerful in the business world. He had a reputation for being strict but fair, and his charm made him the center of attention in every meeting. Emily admired him from a distance, never expecting anything more than a professional relationship. For the first few months, everything went normal. Emily worked hard, Ryan noticed her efficiency, and slowly, he started calling her more often to his office. At first, it was just for work, but then the tone began to change. One day, he called her in late evening when most of the office was empty. "Emily," he said with a smile, "you've been doing really well. You remind me of someone very close to me." She smiled nervously. "Thank you, sir. I'm just trying to do my best." Ryan stood up, walked to the window, and spoke softly. "You know, sometimes work brings people together in strange ways. You're young, smart, beautiful. I can see you going very far. Maybe with a little special attention." Emily blushed. She didn't know how to respond. He looked at her, his voice now deeper. "You ever thought about what it would be like if we weren't just boss and assistant?" The words hung heavy in the air. Emily looked down, confused, curious, nervous. "Let's take a break sometime," Ryan said. "Just a friendly dinner. No pressure." Emily hesitated, then nodded slowly. "Okay." The following weekend, he took her out to dinner in a luxurious restaurant in Soho. Their conversations flowed. He told her about his past, his broken marriage, his loneliness. Emily, emotionally vulnerable and overwhelmed by the attention, found herself pulled toward his charm. That night, instead of dropping her home, Ryan drove her to a 5-star hotel in Midtown. The suite was breathtaking. Soft lights, warm music, and wine waiting on the table. "Just one drink," he said, "to celebrate your future." The night turned into long conversations, laughter, and then quiet. They stood close. His hand brushed her cheek. One touch led to another. Emily, lost in the moment, didn't say no. They spent the night together. A night filled with passion, confusion, and emotions she had never experienced before. The next morning, as sunlight filled the room, Emily woke up with a strange feeling in her chest. The realization hit her hard. She had crossed a line. Tears filled her eyes as memories of the night flashed through her mind. She turned to Ryan, but he was already dressed, holding his phone. "Good morning," he said casually. "Hope you enjoyed last night." I don't know what happened," she whispered. He smirked. "You don't remember? Don't worry. I do. In fact, I even recorded it for memories." Emily froze. "What?" Ryan leaned closer. "Don't worry. It's safe with me. As long as you stay friendly." Her heart sank. The man she thought was caring had just turned into her worst nightmare. She felt used, broken. But Emily wasn't weak. She walked out of the hotel that morning, her eyes red, her heart shattered, but her mind sharp. Later that week, Ryan was shocked when Emily entered his office, confident, collected. "I know what you did, and I've already spoken to a lawyer," she said. "You recorded me without consent. That's a crime. You try to use that video, you'll lose your reputation, your position, everything." Ryan's face went pale. "And one more thing," she added. "I did enjoy that night, but not because of you. Because I realized I deserve better. I'm resigning today, but I'll make sure the world knows what kind of man you are." She walked out, leaving Ryan in stunned silence. Today, Emily runs her own online business, speaks about women's empowerment, and her story, "One Night in the Office," went viral on social media, inspiring thousands of girls to speak up, to never stay silent, Weeks had passed since Emily Carter walked away from Starlit Corporation and from the man who had once charmed her only to betray her trust, Ryan Blake. Though she had left the building behind, the memories of that night still lingered in her mind like a shadow. At first, she was scared. What if Ryan released the video? What if people judged her? But she knew one thing. Silence would only protect him, not her. With courage burning in her chest, Emily made a bold decision. She created a blog and anonymously shared her experience, not naming Ryan, but describing in painful detail how a powerful man used his position to manipulate a young woman. The post, titled "He was my boss, not my owner," went viral within hours. Thousands of women across the country resonated with her story. Some shared their own. Media outlets picked it up. The anonymous post was soon featured on BuzzFeed, New York Times Lifestyle, and even Good Morning America. But what Emily didn't know was that one of Ryan's former assistants, Natalie Dawson, who had worked under him years ago, recognized his behavior in Emily's post. Natalie reached out to Emily secretly, revealing that Ryan had tried something similar with her too, but she was too scared to speak up back then. With two voices now rising against Ryan, they approached a lawyer and prepared a legal complaint. It wasn't just about revenge anymore, it was about justice. When Emily finally stepped forward publicly, revealing her identity in a powerful video titled "I Am Emily Carter," the internet exploded with support. Celebrities reposted it. Feminist groups rallied behind her. Young women called her a symbol of strength. But Ryan? He was silent. Until the day the lawsuit hit. Ryan Blake was suspended immediately. An internal investigation began. More women from the same company came forward, some with older texts, messages, even recorded conversations. His carefully built reputation came crashing down. In the courtroom, when Ryan saw Emily sitting across from him, her eyes steady and strong, he lowered his head in shame. Months later, the court ruled in Emily's favor. Ryan lost his job, his title, and his power. But for Emily, the real victory was something else. She had turned her worst night into the beginning of a new life. Final scene, a new beginning. A year later, Emily sat in a studio overlooking Brooklyn Bridge, now the host of her own podcast Speak Loud, Girl, where she interviewed survivors, activists, lawyers, and ordinary people who had extraordinary stories. Her voice was clear, confident, and inspiring. One evening, as she was finishing a live episode, she received a message on her phone from a young woman who wrote, "Because of your story, I didn't stay silent. I found my courage. Thank you, Emily." Tears welled up in her eyes, but this time, they weren't from pain. She smiled and whispered to herself, "That night didn't break me. It built me."